I lean towards Usyk in the fight, but I would be far from shocked if...
Pro boxing fans, we are here in Riyadh with me, Darren Barker. Darren, how are you first of all? How's things? How's life?
Good, good. I'm smiling then because I thought you was going to bring up the golf that I've been playing once in here, but yeah, bar the golf, I'm a bit alright, mate.
Good stuff. Behind you is probably one of the best backdrops I've seen for a fight. Beterbiev-Bivol, man, this is a big one. Undisputed, all the belts on the line. Let's break this down very quickly, but we'll start off with Artur Beterbiev. We've seen the trajectory, we've seen the knockout, we've seen the power that he possesses. We've seen him in the UK against Anthony Yarde, so up close. What do you make of him as a fighter?
Yeah, he's a beast. I mean, let it sink in. 20 fights, 20 wins, 20 by KO. And it's the manner in how he dispatches his opponents. There's the obvious power, but there's lots of variation with the shots. He carries his power obviously early and late. I think 3 of his stoppages, 3 of the 20 stoppages, 2 in the 10th round, 1 in the 12th. So that is a mark of the man's power throughout the contest. But he's more than just a wrecking ball. Excuse me. He's very intelligent, brilliant footwork, different to Bivol's footwork, which is exceptional, but he's on you. There's a lot of pressure, and he can take a step back, and he can move, and he can be smart. But you know, he's dropping people with jabs. You know, he's setting attacks up so smart in the way that he'll just put a flurry of shots out. He won't load up with the shots, and then all of a sudden he'll just plant his feet and, you know, whip in a huge right hand. The man is an exceptional fighter, hence why he's got the titles he has, and hence why he has 20 wins and 20 knockouts.
There's a notion out there that when his sparring partners come into spar, some of them end up in hospital. So there is that sort of narrative being played out. His trainer said to me yesterday that isn't the case, but look, he's got power, that's what he's going to say. In regards to Bivol, how does he avoid, I know he's got the footwork, but how does he avoid being cut off, the ring being cut off, because that's what Artur is very good at?
I think if you think of a matador facing a ball, you know, they don't run, they don't give up ground, they just make the ball miss. And I think that is kind of a good analogy for how Bivol should approach the fight. He doesn't want to get backed up too much. He needs space behind him. He needs to be able to move back, take a step to either his left or right, then get back to the centre of the ring. It's so important that he plays the role of a matador in this fight, in my opinion. I think pick your moments, don't be greedy, don't be trading with Beterbiev, obviously, but there will be moments when Beterbiev will sort of drag you in to an exchange, because he will just tap a few out. He won't load up with every shot. It will get you to throw your shots with him, and then he'll detonate with big shots. So Bivol's got to be conscious of that, and I think you can be busy with jabs and 1-2s. Use your feet, step out, make Beterbiev fall short, which is easier said than done, then fire back with just a single right hand. I think be selective. You can still be busy whilst being selective. But I think that the big word, I may have already used it in this interview, the big word for me, certainly more so for Bivol, because of the power that Beterbiev carries, is discipline. Discipline is so important in this fight. He's got to be switched on for every second of every round.
Okay, then, just on the final one on this fight, what different scenarios play out for you in this fight? Because every time I've asked somebody a prediction, they can't seem to pick up. But
I've got a prediction. Sorry to jump in there. Like I fancy quite strongly that Bivol wins on points. And I said in a round table interview that I'd done with Ade, Ariel, yeah, and I said it could be not so much a shutout, but what I mean by that is these rounds are going to be close, a lot of them, but I just feel that Bivol may just do enough in a lot of them to make it look wider than it actually will be, if that makes sense. Sometimes there can be wide, close fights, and I just think he's going to do enough. Having said that, I do, because that's how I used to fight, I do sort of lean towards the boxer ever so slightly. I think a very good boxer should be a very good fighter, but Beterbiev is more than a very good fighter. He's a very good, aggressive counterpuncher at times. So look, for me, there's so many ways that this fight can be won and lost for both. That's what makes it so intriguing. You know, like, though I fancy Bivol, I've been telling you now, I wouldn't be betting my house on it. You know, I'm not that confident, but I do think that Bivol will just be a little sharper with the hands and the feet to get a points win.
Just a final two from myself. We saw the full card announced for Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk. I do want to ask you, Tyson did an interview with Undisputed The Game, which is out this week at some point. So if you haven't got it, get it. That's a little plug for them guys. But he said in that, look, there was the cut, and they had to make sure in sparring that nothing opened up. And when the fight happened, they realised, listen, there was no cause for concern, and it's a big payday. This time around, there is no cause for concern in sparring. Do you feel like now then it's a different element to the fight that possibly the training leading up to this will have no cause for concerns?
No, look, the only cause for concern for me is the intentions for Tyson Fury to fight. I mean, he's achieved so much and he's left his legacy in this sport, whatever happens in this rematch. So is it about cementing his place in sort of crazy folklore and beating Usyk, or is it just another payday? If it is the first and not the latter, and he really has massive ambitions to win the fight, then you've got to give him a hell of a chance, because those middle rounds, early to mid rounds, he was comfortable, over comfortable, if I'm honest, showboating far too much, and he got caught doing that, really, messing about a little bit too much, and got caught with a beautiful shot. So he'll look at that and think, right, if I can, again, to use the word discipline, if I can stay a lot more disciplined throughout the entirety of the fight, I've got a very good chance to win this. But then you've got to look at his opponent. His opponent is, as Tyson has, they've shared 12 rounds now, and it's down to who has the better boxing brain, who can go into this rematch with enough information on their opponent that they can be better this time round. And it's very hard to look past Usyk, because his boxing brain is probably the best out there. What he's able to do on the front foot, on the back foot, the shots that he throws, the angles that he creates, the footwork that we've heard so many talk about. Tony Bellew talking about the presence, the energy sapping feints with the feet that Usyk puts on you and plies throughout the contest is incredible. So I lean towards Usyk in the fight, but I would be far from shocked if Fury won this, because of the period he had in the early to mid rounds.
Yeah, I think if people did watch that fight back, it wasn't just a big win for Usyk. There was sort of two ends to that fight.
You got to look at those rounds. I wouldn't say he was coasting, but he was winning the rounds. So you'd be silly not to give him a hell of a chance. And you got to look again. This is heavyweight boxing. There is no limit on weights, and they are a lot different in size. There's a lot of physical advantages Fury has, so if he can be more sensible in using those, again, you've got to give him a massive shot.
Finally, talking about sort of heavyweight boxing, I do want to talk about Anthony Joshua before I do let you go. There's this notion now that Anthony Joshua's made it. He's made enough money in this game now. Has he got the hunger? I think Carl Froch alluded to it as the silk pajama effect. When you're comfortable. For you, being around AJ, do you feel like he's still got the hunger? That he only showed 2 days after the fight that he said that he wants to be back in with Daniel Dubois.
Yeah, I think he has. Because I don't think he's stupid, and if he didn't believe that he could win a world title again, or be in some huge fights and compete in those, I don't think he would continue. So the hunger must be there, because you wouldn't mind being a pound behind Anthony Joshua. Do you know what I mean? He's got fortunes. He's been a 2-time heavyweight champion. He's made his mark on British boxing. It's been an incredible journey. So he obviously is desperate to fight again and become a champion again. And I think personally, if I'm him, though it's a very tough task, I will go straight into the rematch. And the reason I say that is because you can be lost in the wilderness a little bit. I know he's a massive draw, but you never know what's going to happen with those titles. I'm pretty sure the reason Anthony Joshua now, when we've talked about the money he's got, his goals now are to become a 3-time heavyweight champion. So why hang around? Go straight in. You've got a chance to fight for the world title again. So do it. You'd have to have Dubois going in favourite, wouldn't you, I guess, with the manner of victory, but sod it, get in there, fight him again and try and win that 3rd world title.
Actually, do you feel like last one before I let you go? Sorry, call for watching. A few people have alluded to this. Maybe his punch resistance has gone, but is that just the heavyweight division? If you're going to get clipped by somebody with that much power, with that much weight, it's going to affect anyone.
Yeah, look. Some have better chins than others. That's a fact. That's a fact. I mean, they called me the yo-yo. I was up and down like one. But it's if you can get up. Some have tougher chins. You know, like one of the best chins I can think of in the heavyweight division, just first that come to mind was Oliver McCall. You could hit him with a sledgehammer. I think he had an accident when he was a kid and he never got concussed, hurt or wobbled with any shot. And I think, you know, some just genetically have this ability to hold a shot. And Anthony Joshua, just so happens, not that he's not blessed with that, but he's, as you said, he's in the heavyweight division. They punch very hard, and there's no shame in that. There's no shame. Like I say, you know, like it's mad to think that heavyweight wears the same ounce gloves as that I used to wear, and they were naughty. Or I used to touch. You feel like they're solid, and you got Anthony Joshua wearing the same gloves. It's frightening. So yeah, I can understand how they're dropping.
Fair enough. Right, Darren, I think we are going to get underway. I think the DAZN are going to need you very soon.
Rehearsal now.
So, yeah. Thank you so much for giving us the time. Top man.